This is Tom Duty, middle-aged American living in New Jersey near the Lincoln Tunnel. If you were to visit my website, you would type Howdy Doody into Google. You'll find the correct spelling of the famous puppet. You then combine Tom Duty in a Google search for my site. I often have a simple draft of an AM blog in my mind as I move through my morning. And this one began simple, but as my fingers reached the keyboard, it got complicated. The complication is now a disclaimer or preamble. The complication is how a disclaimer or preamble is required before I use my phrase from my childhood. So here's the preamble. In my childhood, pot smoking came with some level of being a social outcast. I was a post-hippie, Catholic prep school kid, and pot smoking was not a central celebrated activity for the highest achievers. Rather, the pot smokers were on the fringes. So the idea promoted by knuckleheads like Jeff Sessions today that marijuana is a gateway drug was plausible. Completely discredited evidence says pot leads to addictive drugs. Alcohol, yes, but not pot. If heavy pot smoking is a habit joined with coping problems, and the person is able to rearrange his or her thinking, then they break free without having to break a chemical addiction. My exposure to recreational street drugs is mostly froze for me in high school. It was not until the recent marijuana legalization movement that I revisited and changed my thinking. Today, I believe my passive classification of pot with addictive drugs and the Fed's current fixed classification of pot with addictive drugs made a major contribution to the opioid epidemic. In today's context, the phrase I want to use is offensive, but back in the day it warranted a twisted smile. Reality is for those who can't handle drugs. All this preamble to set a twisted version of the reality drug phrase. Traditional communication is for those who can't handle social media. Catherine Deneuve contributed to a controversial Me Too is a Witch Hunt editorial in Le Monde. Her name continues to hit on Twitter at rates exceeding double digits per hour. In the text, she downplays claims of sexual harassment, especially calling out Me Too, pointing to a perpetrator whose only harassment was email. I claim, Catherine agrees, traditional communication is for those who can't handle social media. Erica's name is on comments in this blog, and she has warned me about the risk of my personal disclosure, especially when my disclosure includes the wounds caused by family interaction. She suspects my key, soiled relationships are tied to my blogging, and I acknowledge she's at least partially correct. But authenticating Erica's suspicion would require a victim to claim I'm a perpetrator. Daily, I am active on social media, several chat apps, text, email, blogging, and YouTube blogging. In addition to these digital methods, I talk to people. I call family members, both weekly and holidays. As I see it, I'm handling both traditional communication and social media. Traditional communication only is for those who can't handle social media. This has been a postscript that Catherine Deneuve, a French celebrity, an actress, a singer. Interesting, I learned today she's some of her work is associated with Roman Polanski, which in this country, in the U.S., comes with an asterisk of tolerance, excessive, unnecessary tolerance. Catherine Deneuve, the editorial she contributed to is recorded in my voice on my YouTube channel. The subject is the French spelling for the world, M-O-N-D-E, Le Monde. Le Monde. This has been Tom Duty, middle-aged American living in New Jersey near the Lincoln Tunnel. If you were to visit my website, you would type Howdy Doody into Google. You'll find the correct spelling of the famous puppet. You then combine Tom Doody in a Google search from my site. Thank you for listening. Have a good day, good evening, or restful night's sleep. Ciao.